Hey guys, it's Vidhan and I'm back. So it's been almost 4 months since I last created my video, and I'm going to discuss later in the video what I was doing during that period, what I was building behind the scene, and probably if you are interested, we can have a conversation around that. But in this video, what I really want you to discuss, what I want to discuss with you guys is the subconscious block, because what I have noticed is that there are so many people whenever they enter into this room of reality creation and manifestation, they come with certain desires, be it money, relationship, um, advancement in their career, having a career, trying to get a job. So they come into this sphere of reality creation, and what start to happens is that they do the things that are often quite popular, like affirmation, visualization, changing their self concept, changing their identity, changing their belief. But in spite of doing all that inner work, they are still unable to get what it is that they are trying to create. And why that happens is because of the reason called the subconscious block. And I'm going to discuss what is the subconscious block, how it is formed, how it is quite literally keeping you away from the things that you're trying to create in your life, and how they were formed, and how you can ultimately be able to remove this subconscious block. So the way I see subconscious block is like, let's say you have a car and you are a very good driver and you are trying to reach to your destination. But if the car is having a flat tire, no matter how good driver you are not be able to reach the destination at least on time, right? So there are going to be a lot of delays, there are going to be a lot of problem along the way, because you are driving a flat tired car. Or let's say you are an excellent runner, you do sprinting, and if you are running with carrying a backpack that is full of sand, no matter how good sprinter you are always going to come last, right? So subconscious block is similar to a flat tire, it's similar to carrying a backpack full of sand. And until that is not removed, you are quite literally not being able to get to your desired reality, and sooner or later, right? So the whole premise of identifying and removing the subconscious block is to remove the backpack of sand plant and sandbag and get your tire fixed, putting some air in that tire. So that is what really removing the subconscious block equates to. Now, what truly is the subconscious block? So like I said, when you enter into this room of reality creation, you oftentimes come with a certain desire. That desire could be you having more money, or maybe it's relationships, maybe it's having a career, maybe advancement in your business, right? So you enter the realm of manifestation and reality creation with a certain desire. And what happens is that oftentimes you have a conscious definition of these things that you are trying to materialize and bring forth into reality. But if you inquire, then you are also going to have the subconscious definition attached to these things. For example, consciously you might think that if you can have more money, it means more money means more freedom, more abundance, you can have security, you can have stability within, right? So these are the conscious definition that you have attached with the money. But if your subconscious definition is what is contradicting this conscious definition, let's say your subconscious definition of money is attached to conflicts, it might be attached to problems, it might be attached to delay or disappointments, or maybe hard work, grinding, then no matter what you do, you are always going to bring forth the subconscious definition of these things. Why? Because subconscious mind is the womb of reality. Anything in your reality is quite literally the manifestation of what is in the subconscious mind. When it comes down to reality creation, what is the most of utmost important is what is into your subconscious mind. And oftentimes we learn a lot about subconscious mind, but truly the depth to which the subconscious affect your reality is still, it goes far beyond the surface level definition that you have, right? So the subconscious blocks are often the definition of the thing that is you're trying to bring forth in your reality, which is contradicting with the conscious definition of what is it that you want. So let's take a simple example, and I'm going to tell you how the subconscious blocks are formed, why the association or the connection that I have showed you, how they are formed, and how they are affecting your reality. Because when it comes down to manifestation, when it comes down to reality creation, nobody has a manifestation problem. Anyone who tells you that you have the incapability of manifesting the things that you're trying to create, they are telling you the wrong thing. You do not have a manifestation problem. You are quite literally manifesting every single thing in your life. But the problem is that what you are right now manifesting or creating often comes down to your subconscious definition of that thing, right? So you are manifesting, but oftentimes you are manifesting subconsciously or unconsciously, and unconsciously those things contradict the logical definition of what it is that you want. Now, one thing that I want to understand about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is the difference how they look at things. So your conscious mind is the logical mind. Whatever it is that you're trying to create, it has logical definition of it. Like I said, it when it comes to money, it has a very beautiful logical definition created around money. When it comes down to, say, relationships, it has a very beautiful logical definition created around relationship. But the thing about the subconscious mind is that it is illogical, and it is crucial to understand. Because it is illogical, it doesn't adhere to the conscious definition of the thing that you have created in your mind. So for example, like I said, you could have equated money with say freedom or security, stability, or like I said, abundance, right? These are the beautiful fancy definition that you have created in your mind around money. Or let's say relationship, you could have a beautiful definition, say relationship means fulfillment, relationship means completion, right? Relationship means harmony, relationship means loyalty. These are all the conscious definition that you have created around relationship. But because your subconscious mind, it doesn't adhere to logic, and because it is illogical, it do not understand these fancy or beautiful definition that you have created around these things. All it understand is what its own definition. So it's quite possible that when it comes down to money, your subconscious mind has created money around conflicts, problems, hard work, grinding, disappointments, right? So these are the illogical definition of the money that subconscious mind is created, or when it comes down to, let's say, relationship, quite possible that the definition the subconscious mind has for the relationship, it's toxicity, betrayal, fighting, or could be lack of trust, right? So when you go out there and you try to create money or relationship, what you bring forth is the subconscious definition of it. You get the relationship, or and in that relationship you often get partner who is toxic. You experience betrayal, you experience conflict or fight with your partner, or lack of trust. And if you look from the perspective of manifestation reality creation, you are manifesting the thing that you want, but what you are manifesting is the subconscious definition of this. So like I said, you do not have a manifestation problem right now. The problem is that whatever it is that you are creating, it's coming from your subconscious mind, and because you are not aware of the subconscious definition of around these things, what you are bringing in forth is oftentimes in the conflict with the logical definition that you have built around those things. So we have to understand how these subconscious blocks are formed in the first place, because if you do not be aware of this subconscious block, every single time you are trying to create the desire that you are trying to manifest, it's oftentimes going to come from your subconscious mind, and it's going to create a problem for you. Now, how does this definition are formed? Why your subconscious mind is equating money with conflict, problems, disappointments, hard work, and why it's equating relationship with toxicity, fighting, betrayal. You know how does it happen? So what I need you to understand is that your subconscious mind, it creates this definition, it creates this association, it creates these connections based on two things. First is experience, and second is observation. But experience and observation in of itself are not the key factor. The key factor here is emotional intensity. Why? Because your subconscious mind has one and only one definition, only one language, and that is emotion. Like I said, it's illogical. Whatever rationale you are going to present to your subconscious mind, it's not going to understand it, because the only language of the subconscious mind is the emotion. The only language to program your subconscious mind is through emotion. And whenever there is emotionally intense experience or emotionally intense observation around the thing that you're trying to create in your reality, it is what that emotional intensity is what really create the subconscious definition of this thing. For example, let's say money. Growing up, it's quite possible that you have observed your parents struggling for the money. You have observed your parents having conflict because of money. You have observed your parents quite literally working extremely hard to just fulfill the basic necessity of food, clothes, or roof on top of your head. So because there was emotional intensity behind those observation, what happens is that your subconscious mind, it start to equate and associate money with hard work, conflicts, problems, right? And you might hear a dog barking outside my house, so forgive that. I have no control over it. But anyways, like I said, whenever you observe something and there is emotional intensity behind it, your subconscious mind then forms a association of that thing with the like second order consequence of how that things were brought forth in your reality, right? So if you have observed your parents fighting over money, having problems over money, you living a life where you saw your parents working extremely hard just to get passed by, then you start to equate money with these things, and this becomes the subconscious definition of money. So when you go out there and you try to get more money, you try to earn more money, subconscious mind is doing its job. What it's creating more for you is hard work. Why? Because subconscious mind go and it inquire within, okay, this guy wants money, but what is the my definition of money? And its definition is hard work. So okay, what it really start to create is more hard work for you. Then it goes and see what's my definition of money, it's conflict, and you end up having more conflict in your life, more problems in your life, right? So in a way, subconscious is doing its job. Subconscious is giving you what it is that you want, but it is giving you its own definition of that thing. Or let's say you have some emotionally intense experience around money. Let's say you went to give a job interview and you were rejected, you never heard from the recruiter, and that created a disappointment, right? You were extremely disappointed. So your subconscious mind has equated the job, the money, with disappointment. So when you try to get, you try to give more interview, try to get the job, subconscious checks its own definition of the money, and that is disappointment, and that is what you bring forth in your life. You, every time you don't even understand why it's happening, you continue to give interviews after interviews, and all you get is the rejection and disappointment, because back in the background, subconscious, being the womb of reality, is quite literally doing its job very honestly. It's giving you what it is that you want, but it's giving you its own definition, right? So this is the thing that I want to understand, is that emotion is the primary language of the subconscious mind. Anytime you have emotionally intense experience, emotionally intense observation, that emotional intensity creates an emotional charge, and that emotional charge then has capability to imprint and enter in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind that equate that thing with the emotion that it experienced, right? So, and anytime then you go out and try to manifest or create the thing that it is that you want, subconscious give you its own definition. That is how it works. Now the other thing that subconscious mind do, it can either give you the thing that you want, like in this case, when you are trying to create money, it's going to give you its own definition of that thing, right? So hard work, conflict, problem. Or it's going to avoid that thing altogether. So it's going to avoid money altogether. Why? Because money means hard work, conflict, problem. So because subconscious mind, it hates pain, is going to do everything in its power to avoid that things altogether. And when that happens, when the subconscious block is in the background operating, you oftentimes end up not having the thing in the first place, or even if you get to get that thing, it comes with its own associated definition, right? And I have seen this quite a lot, quite many times with the people, that even though, let's say, through hard work, through perseverance, they are able to create the more money in their business, in their life, in their job, but still that money is accompanied with conflict, problems, or they make a certain amount of money and then they go back to their original level. Why? Because subconscious mind knows that more money means more problem, and hence why they unconsciously sabotage their own progress. So this is how the subconscious blocks are formed. So what I want you to understand is that anytime you are trying to create something, and let's say you continue to see this similar pattern in a certain area, maybe it's money, and around money you continue to experience you going out there and doing a lot of hard work, you going out there, maybe you are making a certain progress, but still you are going back to your default level. You get some money but you sabotage it, you get some money but some unexpected expense just brought up in your life, then it is the subconscious mind in the background doing its job. So the first thing that I want you to do is to observe the patterns, observe the repeated patterns around the things that you're trying to materialize in your life. That is the thing that you're trying to bring into existence in your life. If it's money, continue to see, I mean, with the awareness, try to look at the pattern that are happening around the money. Is it that you get money, but often it's accompanied with more conflict? You get money, but you somehow sabotage it, spend it, like you squander it. You get money but that money does not stays with you. Why? Because in the background the subconscious is doing its job. So how do you know that you have a subconscious block? Like I said, you have to look these certain pattern in the certain areas that is you are trying to create. Maybe it's relationship, maybe it's job, maybe it's career, maybe it's your business, maybe it's you trying to do advancement in your job, maybe it's certain type of relationship that you're trying to create, right? So this is the one thing. And once you have identified the area in which you are seeing the recurring pattern of you manifesting the things which you actually don't want, then the other thing that I want you to do is to go back and go back and inquire within what was the emotionally intense experience or emotionally intense observation you have you had around that thing, right? So could be it money, or maybe it's relationship. Ask yourself, what was the most emotional intense experience that I had, or emotionally intense observation that I had around those things. And how do you know that? So, what I'm trying to convey here is that the most emotional intense experience and most emotional intense observation, they are often the core memories. They are the core memories. And core memory is something which, even when you think about it today, it would feel like that it's happening right now, just like it's happening yesterday. They are so fresh in your psyche. And these are often the core memories. So if you are experiencing problem in manifesting and creating money in your life, relationship in your life, abundance in your life, then go back and identify the core memory that is associated with it, where there was emotionally intense experience and emotionally intense observation, because that core memory has created the emotional charge, and that emotional charge then had the capability to enter into your subconscious mind. And once it entered your subconscious mind, it started creating a connection with that thing, with that emotion. Hence why when you try to create money, you try to bring forth more conflict. So identify the core memory. And one thing that I want to emphasize here, that don't try to force any core memory, because if it's not there then it's fine. Don't try to create more problems in your life. If there is a core memory that you can recall immediately, then that is the thing on which you should need to work. But if a core memory is not coming up, then it's completely fine. Don't unnecessarily create more problem in your life, right? So bring the core memory. And once you have identified the core memory, now what I want you to do is to enter in a relaxed state. Why? Like I said, your subconscious mind is illogical, and we are going to use this in our advantage, because our subconscious mind is illogical, and the only language the subconscious mind knows is the emotion. We are going to use this in order to reprogram the subconscious mind. And step one is, again, you have to enter in a relaxed state. Why relaxed state? Because when you are relaxed, you go into what's known as alpha or theta brainwave state. While when you are awake, you are in the beta brainwave. So beta brainwave is more like alert brainwave, and it is the state where you are constantly scanning for the threat. You are constantly looking for what's wrong, and this is when your conscious mind is in play. And anytime your conscious mind is active, it is very difficult for you to reach to your subconscious mind. So hence, relaxed state is the prerequisite for you to reach to your subconscious mind. So enter in a relaxed state. And when I say relaxed state, you can lie down on your bed, or you can sit on your chair, or if you want, you can try to do meditation. That's completely fine. But the prerequisite is that you have to be in a relaxed state. You have to shift from beta to the alpha and theta brainwave state, because this these brainwave are the doorway to your subconscious mind. Now when you are into the relaxed state, now it might take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on upon how long it takes for you to relax. But don't ignore this step. Relaxation is creation. Why? Because when you are relaxed, when you are in the alpha and theta brainwave state, then you have the door open toward your subconscious mind. And subconscious mind being the womb of the reality, anytime anything that is not in your subconscious mind won't be in your reality. Anything that enters in your subconscious mind enters in your reality. And one thing, before uh, me revealing the second step, the one thing that I just want you to understand is that, like I said, emotional intensity, emotional intense experience, and emotionally intense observation, these are the things that has capability to enter your subconscious mind. And when this definition is formed, like money is equated to conflict, right? When this association is formed, it start to become emotionally normal. And if you look at your life, anything in your life that you find normal, you have abundant of it. Look around you, all the things that you have created. Maybe it's your iPhone, maybe it's your car, maybe it's your house. Now you have it, and it becomes normal for you. And whatever is normal is familiar, and whatever is familiar, you continue to create more of it. So when the subconscious definition is formed, it start to become emotionally normal. For you, it become normal to have conflict around money. For you, it becomes normal to work extremely hard to earn the money. For you, it becomes normal to have the relationship where the partner is toxic. This is how you start to look at the world. And anything which you see as normal, that is what you're going to create, right? So look around you and see, what do you find normal. Do you find it normal to relationship have toxicity? Do you find it normal to your partner to betray you? Do you find it normal for your partner to be cheating on you? Because this is quite literally happens. So if you look at the people who continue to attract partners who are toxic, who are continue to fight with them, create a relationship atmosphere of problems, then more often than not they have observed their parent going through divorce, maybe observed their parent going through fighting, observed their parents or the people around them betraying. And because they have observed it with emotional intensity, or they might have experienced a heartbreak, and that heartbreak has created an emotional intense experience of disappointment, and that created an emotional charge, and that emotional charge then imprint in their subconscious mind, and now the subconscious mind sees relationship as disappointment. Now because subconscious mind, when you try to create a relationship in your life, it either gives you a definition of it, which is disappointment, which is betrayal, or it tries to avoid that things altogether. So you do not have, you find it very difficult to materialize a partner for you. So like I said, whenever whatever is the subconscious definition is eventually going to be normal for you. Now, like I said, when you have identified the core memory, the first step is to enter in a relaxed state. Why? Because when you are in a relaxed state, then your brain wave goes shift to alpha and theta, and these brain wave are the doorway to your subconscious mind. Second, recall that memory, or recall slash recreate, and see it unfolding in a positive way. Now, why do I say that? Well, because when you are in a relaxed state, and because your subconscious mind is illogical, and the only language to the subconscious mind is the emotion. Now what I want you to do is to when you have entered the relaxed state, recreate that core memory and see it unfolding in a positive way. So if the core memory has your parents fighting, having a conflict, then see them hugging each other, loving each other, saying to each other that how valuable and lovable they are, right? Or if it's around money, you might have a core memory where you see your parents working extremely hard to earn the end meet, see them effortlessly earning the money, see the money coming effortlessly in your life. If it's been you having difficulty to get the enough food, or maybe you continue to wear same clothes for 3 4 years, see yourself eating a very hefty meal, and see yourself buying the multiple many clothes from branded clothes, right? So whatever is the core memory that is negative, I want you to recreate it positively. And then the very important step, add emotional intensity. So if it's conflict, recreate memory with love, and feel that love, feel the emotional intensity behind that love. If it disappointment, maybe you have experienced a heartbreak, recreate a memory where the partner say yes to you, they are very happy because you proposed. Now you might say this is not what has actually happened, and it doesn't really matter. What really matters is, are you able to replace the negative emotional charge with the positive one? Because this is the goal is to remove the subconscious block, and the only way to remove the subconscious block is to generate enough emotional intensity, which will generate enough emotional charge, and that emotional charge is going to replace the existing negative emotional charge associated with that thing. The whole idea about this exercise is to replace that negative emotional charge and replace it with the positive one. And the moment you are able to do that, the subconscious definition that has been created around those things is going to change. And the moment that's going to change, the subconscious, like I said, you do not have a manifestation problem. So when the subconscious definition of that thing around money, relationship, career, job, whatever it is that you're trying to materialize in your reality, when the moment it changes, the subconscious mind is going to bring forth that thing in your reality. And in this scenario, your conscious definition is going to match with your subconscious one, right? So if consciously money means security, stability, freedom, then you have to generate enough emotional charge around the money that equates to abundance, that equates to freedom, that equates to security and stability. Until unless there is a conflict between conscious and subconscious mind, you have to understand the subconscious definition is always going to get forth and materialize in your reality. That is always going to get into the existence of your life. And this is the only thing that is preventing you from creating your desired reality. And one caution here is anytime when you are, so add emotional intensity, and the fourth step is loop that scene. So keep that scene very short. Let's say in the actuality, what has happened, that your parents had a fight around money, and that was your core memory. Create a very short memory where your parents are loving each other. If it's like money was very difficult to come by, just recreate the memory where money is effortlessly coming in your life. Maybe you see your parents and saying money is so easy to come by, money is so easy to earn, and just loop that memory again and again with enough emotional intensity. Loop that scene, keep it short, 5 to 10 seconds. Just your parents saying money is very easy to come by, money is very easy to manifest. Recreate that memory. If that was a heartbreak, loop a very short scene where your partner to whom you have proposed saying that they do love you and they accept your proposal. See them very happy that you have proposed them, but keep that scene short and loop it again and again. And with enough repetition, what start to happen is that you are going to create enough emotional charge. That emotional charge is going to replace that negative association that subconscious mind has with that thing. Continue to do it, and anytime that you feel some strain, some stress, it means your brain wave is shifting to the beta 1. Stop that exercise right away and come back to it later. If you don't force it, it should feel effortless. It should feel, the emotions, they should come out naturally. Anytime you feel strain or tension while doing that exercise, stop it right away and come back to it later. So this is how you can replace the your subconscious block and quite literally match your conscious definition of the thing that it is you're trying to create with the subconscious definition of it. And once the definition is created, you are going to bring forth the thing that you are trying to create. You are going to enter in your desired reality. Now, like I said, what I have been doing in the 4 months. So during the 4 month, I've been studying this reality creation for almost like 7 years. I have been through a lot of material. I've been through a lot of book, not only books. I have been through all type of religion when it comes down to you creating your desired reality, when it comes down to you trying to understand the mechanics behind the reality creation. And after almost like 7 plus years, I was having this itch within me to create a systemized framework which has the entirety of the reality creation in it. And what I ended up creating is the reality alchemy program. Right. So this is the name of the program that I have created. I've been creating it for almost like 4 months now. And it's a 6-week program. And the goal is to every single week you have certain videos released. You are going to watch them, take notes, and we can then connect and discuss what clicked, what doesn't click. And every single week has its own theme. So I take you from fundamentals to the advanced level, and it's not just another manifestation woo woo kind of stuff. This program is quite literally the only program that is going to reveal the real mechanics of reality creation. It's my 7-year work that I have put in one single program. And right now, if you are interested in working with me, I would highly suggest you to just drop me a message on the Instagram with the word alchemy, and we can have a conversation. Right now, because I'm at the starting phase of you know in this field, what I really need is people to work with. And preferably I would love to work with people who are already at certain level in their career. Maybe you are in a job, maybe you are in a business, and you feel that you are stuck at that level, and you realize that it's not the issue of talent, it's not the issue of skill, it's not the issue of working hard. It's something which you are quite literally not able to figure out. And oftentimes that things is your internal, that is your state. So your state is something which creates your reality. And state over strategy, this is the conclusion that I have came with. So if you are an individual who has already put in the hard work, who has already applied all the strategy, all the hard work, all the whatever is available in the realm of your reality, you have tried to apply all of those things and you still feel like that you are stuck, then I encourage you to drop me a message on Instagram saying alchemy, and we can have a conversation and I can see how I can help you. So if interested, go on my Instagram, drop me a message, and probably we can end up having a conversation. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.